Sue mentioned City of Grand Rapids, and fortunately for us, we have Haris Alibasic. He's here, and he works in the mayor's office. He's representing the city, and he's got quite a bit of experience. You're doing all kinds of things. In fact, you're a member, obviously, of the Michigan Municipal League, but you have all kinds of business management, public management, business administration experience. You're a PhD candidate on top of that, so this guy knows what he's talking about here, and he obviously sees the value. And he's going to be focusing on the City of Grand Rapids Sustainability Plan here, and I'm not going to say anything more because you're going to describe all this for us, okay? Haris?
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
That ice cream was a mistake, wasn't it? Everyone's sleeping now. All right, I'm going to be very, very brief and up to the point. I wonder if I can use this. No.
Only
All right.
the pointer works though, the laser pointer.
That's
You
not
want me to do it?
No, I'll do it. So as Mike mentioned, I'm Haris Alibasic. I'm with the City of Grand Rapids. I work in the executive office. And Sue mentioned that she has legislative experience. I manage cities' legislative affairs, both state and federal. And I also manage sustainability, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and all sorts of different projects. I'm glad to see my friend Norman Christopher, who's our from Grand Valley State University, Sustainability Director. GVSU is our great partner on sustainability issues. And that's what I'm going to talk about also, the importance of the partnerships that we have, leveraging resources, just like Sue mentioned, that many cities are going through difficult budget times, and I'll show you briefly that the City of Grand Rapids is also going through some tough fiscal times as well, just like other cities do. Just in terms of overview of what I'm going to cover today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the commitment to sustainability. We did have a sustainability director. I took over that responsibility on top of all the other work that I do. So back in 2009, we created the Office of Energy and Sustainability to combine our efforts and focus on renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainability together with conservation. We have a sustainability plan, we have triple bottom line indicator, and we also have a commitment to 100% renewable energy for the entire city operation. And we have finished developed our energy efficiency and conservation strategy, and I'll talk a little bit about that too. Just in terms of the size of the city of Grand Rapids, as you probably know and had a chance most likely to come to the city, is second largest in Michigan, has around 200. We hope to have 200,000 since 2010, but we were very close to 200,000 in 2000 census. We lost over 300 employees. Actually, the number is getting close to 400, and the operating deficit for the last 9 years has been pretty significant. Most recent one is the projected operating deficit of $27 million. So we do have significant fiscal challenges ahead of us, but we are committed to sustainability, and we look at the sustainability mainly from our economic perspective as an economic opportunity, but also as a social and environmental opportunity for the entire community. Looking at the sustainability, when you look at the sustainability, the city's focus, we got so many things going on. We have performance management plans that tie into our work with the budget planning and fiscal plan. We have a master plan, Green Grand Rapids plan that I know Wayne, you guys probably talked about it last week at your Land Institute conference. And we have a triple bottom line indicator report and sustainability plan. All of these are not significant if they're not connected. So what we are trying to do is, and strive towards, is to have that fully integrated strategy. When you look at the sustainability, we want to have a sustainability plan that's tied directly to service packages, which are part of our fiscal plan, and then there is a triple bottom line indicator which ties into reporting out to the community. But I'll get to that. Back in 2005, the City of Grand Rapids, together with its local partners, universities, private organizations, and colleges, and private public schools, have ventured into something called Community Sustainability Partnership. I mentioned at Grand Valley State University, we have Aquinas College, Grand Rapids Community College, and Grand Rapids Public Schools, they signed something called Community Sustainability Partnership. Since then, we now have 190 partners, including most recently an organization called Congress of North American Bosniaks, which is a national organization that represents all the American Bosnians who live in the United States and Canada. And that's the 191st partner for the Community Sustainability Partnership. The idea is really to share resources, to share knowledge, to work together towards larger scale sustainability in Grand Rapids area. And I tell you, I hear everywhere you go that that's becoming basically something that other communities are striving for. And there are other sustainability partnerships in the area as well. As Sue mentioned, we do have a sustainability plan. It was a basic first type of sustainability planning, I believe in Michigan. It was adopted back in 2006. Of course, everything evolves and everything moves forward. There's what we consider this sustainability plan as important. It has specifically sustainability framework and vision statements. We thought there was a need for improvement, and again, working in partnership together with our partners like GVSU and other universities, we're now moving towards a new level of sustainability plan, and I'll get to that as well. We also adopted back in 2008 a triple bottom line indicator, which has a specific sustainability indicators in all three areas: environmental, economic, and social. So, for example, the waste collection is covered, economic development, and basically everything that's important to the community, social, crime statistics, and so forth. I'm going really fast because I want to cover everything in 20 minutes, and we'll have a chance for questions and answers. And I did see some presenters who present really fast, and I thought that was cool, so I'm just trying to so people don't sleep. So, as I mentioned, we are moving now towards Sustainability Plan 2.0. The second level of the sustainability planning for the city is really tying those dots together, putting everything into perspective and tying it into our budget planning and fiscal sustainability. So what we are looking at now is something very different, and I know we did a lot of research, and GVSU students and other people. Norman has been very helpful and tremendous support for this effort. We have been doing something different than many other communities don't, and that's something that we're looking at in our sustainability specific outcomes and targets. We talk about Green Community Challenge. I think we met 5 areas of the Green Community Challenge, and I think when you look at our outcomes and targets in the sustainability plan, it's basically saying that for areas of economy and for the areas of environmental and social, we will have a specific deadlines and specific areas that we will have to meet as the organization. Now, keep in mind, sustainability plan is really focusing on the organization as a whole. The city's organization is 1,600 employees, 360,000 customers at water service and sewer services, and so on and so forth. So, for example, if you look at the energy and climate protection, which is part of the environmental goals and outcomes, we have a specific outcome to reduce the city's greenhouse gas emissions and reduce our carbon footprint and impact on climate change. So our first target is to meet the obligations of the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement for greenhouse gas emissions reduction by June 30. Now, there are thousands of strategies that you or any organization can pick and choose to meet these targets. But we were really deliberate in terms of what targets we want to do in order to meet this specific outcome and to get to that point. So I just picked a few from our sustainability plan. Just keep in mind that this sustainability plan is going to become part of the fiscal plan for this year, for FY11, and we have not finished our work yet. We're still actually working on glossary and definitions, and working on a couple of tweaks in terms of what the partners need to provide for their targets. So I just picked randomly a couple of targets. For example, reducing the city's annual electrical usage to 107,000 megawatt hours by June 30th. Our annual usage is approximately 110,000 megawatt hours. Now you may say, well, that's not a big deal. It is a significant reduction if you really think about how large the operation the city has and how many, for example, increase in demand of services that we have on water and sewer. Then achieving the 30% of energy use from renewable sources such as hydro, wind, solar, and geothermal by June 30th, 2013. So we are committing ourselves to get to 30% of renewable energy by 2013 for the entire city operation. That's a significant amount, not just fiscal investment, but it's also commitment as an organization. Again, I mentioned that the only person doing renewable energy for the city, it's me. I do energy efficiency and renewable energy, but it's also part of the leveraging of resources that we have. We have a tremendous group of people working in different departments that can help me get the abstract information, get the payback information on a specific technology. Most of you know that renewable energy is more expensive and it costs money. And we're looking at everything that we do, everything as a long-term investment for the city. So if we do solar panel, we want to try to find a financial way to justify those investments. We want to say there's a payback in 7 years, and if you can get feed-in tariff, maybe the payback is going to be 4 years. So we're trying to leverage all those resources, and then we work with our public and private partnerships. For example, we're looking at wind project at Lake Michigan Filtration Plant. That's a significant project. It's probably 4 megawatts, large wind turbines, but we're working with Rockford Perhe, which is a private company doing wind. So because city has no capacity to build, design, and operate these projects, but we can work with our partners on those. So that's just one area. The other area is the environmental quality and natural systems, increasing the percentage of tree canopy, increasing the percentage of low maintenance grasses and native plants, social facilities and operations. This slide, what this shows is basically that now we're going to a low hanging fruits, and we're digging deep into departments. So we have a department called Facilities and Fleet Management. We used to have just 2 departments. We merged them, just like the NREs merged. So they now have to look at all of these outcomes and targets and sustainability plan and find a way to meet them. What are the areas that they cover? So is this electrical consumption? Yes, they can reduce electrical consumption because they have control over that. So how do they meet those goals and get to those targets that we need to meet them? Natural gas consumption reduction, vehicle gas usage, and so forth. So all of these targets are now basically tied to our fiscal plan, and everything will become part of the fiscal plan. So sustainability plan, our performance measurements, and the budget packets, they are part of the fiscal planning. So what we had with the first sustainability plan wasn't that direct of a link. We had a lot of broad-ranging statements. It was a great document, but it was a really 2-dimensional document. This becomes a 3-dimensional document, and now we're working on sustainability indicators that we will be able to develop those and use them to produce the second version of our triple bottom line indicators in the future. And we, again, relying on the help from our GVSC partners on that as well. So I think I covered most of that. Some of the specific projects that we look at when we talk about applied sustainability, oftentimes you say sustainability and people say, oh, here we're going again. Just climate action, climate change, sustainability is just phrases that government uses. But every time we look at sustainability, we look at it from the benefits to the community, benefits to the organization and our employees, and how sustainability helps us drive better performance, get better at providing services, and become more efficient and become more productive in our work. So when we look at different projects that we do, we always look at how we can save money, how we can provide environmental and social benefits to the community. We did a couple of projects for geothermal to capture energy and provide HVAC for lab. At our water treatment plant, we looked at the flow equalization to avoid peak demands, which again reduces our electrical costs. We looked at the fine bubble diffusion, which in essence saved us about $338,000 a year annually. That's a huge amount of investment. But the money that we save, we can then invest in different projects and do more energy efficiency and conservation projects. City of Grand Rapids has, back in 2005, Mayor issued a challenge to the city employees and city community as a whole to have 20% of our renewable energy to come from, our energy use come from renewable energy. So we were able to meet that goal in 2007 in December, a year ahead of schedule, which, you know, everyone, I was very happy about that. We met our goals, so now we move forward. And then Mayor in 2008 said, oh, how about having a 100% renewable energy goal by December 31st, 2020. So okay.
Go figure.
Yeah. Again, the city's commitment to these projects, it really is based on economic, environmental, and social benefits to the community and to the organization. So in 2009, in order to really meet all of these challenges, we created something called Office of Energy Sustainability, which you see the Office of Energy Sustainability standing right in front of you. I have no secretary, I have no help, except for all the great work we get with our partnerships, from community sustainability partnerships, from colleges, from private sector. I tell you, we have seen some major commitment from our private partners in the city, in the community. We have great companies, we have great colleges. Again, the renewable energy projects, we're working towards getting most of our renewable energy projects to provide on-site renewable energy production. So we're looking at, for example, something very innovative, working with a company that's based out of Norway, but they would produce the actual product to produce electricity out of fluid pressure. We have a lot of fluid pressure, obviously, pumping the water out of the lake, and there's a lot of unused energy that would produce electricity out of fluid pressure that you need to reduce down anyway. We're working on solar panel project that we're trying to put at either water treatment plant or actual water building, which is the first, I think, municipal owned LEED certified building. So we're going to add solar panels on those as well. 5 minutes. Well, I'm really good. And then we're working also on a wind project, public-private partnership. One thing I'll tell you, there's a lot of barriers to wind projects. There's going to be a lot more in the future. Just in case anyone decides, any organization that decides to go forward with large-scale wind projects, they have to be prepared that there's going to be a lot of opposition from residents, people who are not residents, people who are not necessarily neighbors. There's just a negative perception out there about wind projects, and I believe that those things will have to change over time as we explain the effects and benefits of these projects. And I think in my personal experience, my studies so far, I've seen that wind projects are probably most efficient in terms of renewable energy projects. Solar panels, they're expensive. I mean, renewable energy in general is more expensive, but it's becoming cheaper and cheaper and less expensive as there's more demand for it. As Sue mentioned, ARRA funding for energy efficiency block grants, that in my opinion is the best part of the stimulus funding. I happen to manage the stimulus funding that come to the cities. We got all sorts of funding, some for cops, some for fire department, and so forth. But in my opinion, these have the most direct effect on the triple bottom line for organizations. So what we did with our energy efficiency conservation strategy, we had up to $250,000 you can do to develop your strategy. What we used that we not just developed a 6-page strategy that, you know, you can do 6-page strategy and submit it with your application. We developed something that included the entire greenhouse gas emission for the entire city, for community, and for the organization. we also use that money to develop specific strategies beyond the funding from energy efficiency block grants. So we got 6 areas that talk about managing energy and keeping track of energy use and how that energy savings can be then invested somewhere else into some other projects. But I think we did a really good job with in using the funding we had available for more than just developing a 6-page strategy that could have been, you could just say, and here's a couple projects, light fixture replacement, and so forth. But the other couple of projects we're working on is the sustainable roof on City Hall, geothermal, light fixture replacement, of course, windows, better management and energy use tracking, and motion sensors. All of these are going to help us become more efficient, reduce our energy consumption, and then we can reinvest the funding or savings into some other projects. Again, every little bit helps when the cities are struggling with the budget situation. Every community I talk to is going through the same thing. Couple of sustainability recognition, I want to touch on those as well. City has been recognized nationally. For example, the city of Grand Rapids has been ranked among the top 25 cities in the U.S. for applying sustainable development. In the book by Ken Fortney, his book is called Taking Sustainable Cities Seriously. This is the Y building, and it's first in the world that was LEED certified. Some numbers that still exist out there, that the city is, Grand Rapids has been recognized as the highest LEED Grand Rapids has been recognized nationally for its LEED buildings and has the highest number of LEED buildings per capita. We have one of the first LEED certified municipal building. We have the first LEED certified YMCA and art museum, and the 4th in the nation in number of certified registered LEED projects. I know Guy Bazzani, he's our local partner. He's going to be presenting on greening the commercial buildings. He's a great guy. If you have a chance to listen to his presentation, I really highly recommend it. Just recently, the city was chosen by the American Institute of Architects as a case study in a report on green building trends. We also received the recognition by the EPA for our green power leadership, Consumers Energy Michigan Customer of the Year, West Michigan Business Review, first annual Green Awards. And again, we're the first U.S. city that was recognized by the United Nations University as the regional center of excellence. And this is the most recent news. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has selected the city of Grand Rapids as the top 3 finalists for National Sustainability Award. The actual award winner will be announced on May 13th, so hopefully we'll get that too. I want to plug one more thing. I know that Director Humphreys mentioned that today in her presentation, but September 10th, Grand Rapids, together with Greentown, Grand Valley State University, DNRE, and MML, we're going to be hosting a Climate Strategies for Sustainable Communities. The official title is Future Cities Conference. And hopefully I'll see you there. And if you have any questions, my information is right here. My email is halibasi@grcity.us. And if you get a chance, check out our website, sustainablegr.com and grpartners.org. So I thank you for your attention. Hopefully I kept you within 20 minutes.